It's a time of tenuous peace in the Federation. A long-established neutral zone is threatened by new technologies, hubris, and Romulan insecurities with those who appear weak. Peace can only last so long. The episode kicks off with a wedding, but the bright, hopeful festivities has a darker, ominous overtones, as Federation outposts placed to make sure the Romulans play nice begin disappearing one after the other. The Romulans are to blame. Hello everyone, it's time for another Star Trek episode analysis from the era of the original series. I'm your host, Mr. G. Today we're going to take a look at Balance of Terror, otherwise known as that submarine episode that puts Captain Kirk at odds with the Romulans, and Kirk must choose to either preserve the peace or chase after war. It's one of the more enjoyable episodes, and for many years, decades, spanning across 2 centuries, I watched it for the deep space drama, a battle of wits and weapons. The episode, known for its militaristic drama, begins curiously with all things a wedding, and Scotty's demonstration that CCTV cameras will be larger and more conspicuous in the future. It is the series' introduction of the Romulans, and their ironic backstory connecting them with the Vulcans. I've never paid attention to the episode's nuances, including the wedding scene. Then I thought about the title, In Balance of Terror. I never gave it much thought, more than a play on the Cold War. Then I grew wise and old. A balance is also a metaphor for weight and counterweight, 2 opposite sides that mirror each other. They're similar, but not always equal. The 2 sides may have different outcomes from shared circumstances. That little shared philosophy can be applied to the wedding scene. The happy event is interrupted, and the bride is left at the altar. So why would the episode kick off with a wedding if they weren't going to go through with it? Was it to show how personal lives are intertwined with duty in Starfleet? You might think that, but there's a bigger picture. Both Kirk and his Romulan counterpart, the hero and the villain, are mirror images of each other, an inverted opposite that shares similarities, its reflection skewed between the 2. The description of being in each other's reflection is nothing I made up. It's mentioned at least twice in the episode.
I want him to think that we're a reflection.
Commander, it is our judgment we run from a reflection.
Perhaps so, but my judgment prevails.
First, the ships. The Romulan bird of prey has quite an advantage. It's able to turn invisible using a cloaking device. It carries a formidable weapon using high-energy plasma that disintegrates anything that it touches. Yet, it's slow in speed, only traveling on impulse power. It consumes considerable energy to sustain its invisibility and massive weaponry. While it travels cloaked and unseen, they are equally blind, their sensors ineffective. The Enterprise is fast and can outmaneuver the Romulan ship. Their sensors are quite accurate. Its phasers don't require a direct hit to impair the bird of prey. It just needs to come close. But the Enterprise is vulnerable. It must rely on pure luck to hit what it can't see. Its only defense against the Romulans and their plasma weapon is retreat. Next, their governments. The Romulan great leader, the Praetor, demands provocations for war. He wants updates, assurances, and most of all evidence of weakness shown from the Earthmen. The Federation, however, demands peace at any price. They don't ask for updates. They want no change to the status quo. In fact, they're pretty much out of touch. The commanders. Both have an antagonist in their crew. Each wants war on their terms. Styles is openly combative. His motivations lie in history, family history, and his not so subtle preoccupation with anything resembling Romulan. The episode sees Styles voluntarily removed from his general assignment, as he is reassigned from navigation to weapons control. Consider it a temporary, honorable demotion with a change in duties. His life is saved by Spock. The Vulcan overlooks Styles' narrow-mindedness. Spock is capable of nothing more. The Romulan known as Decius is quiet and keeps to himself. He will make unencrypted video transmissions to the head of government without asking permission nor forgiveness. His family are allies high in government and will trample anyone for his praetor, including his commander. Decius is removed 2 steps in rank. Unlike Styles, his demotion is literal, although we do not see a change in his duty. Decius loses his life pursuing the stereotype of the weak human. While Kirk and the Romulan have their contrarians, they also have their friends, who long travel with them at their side. Kirk has McCoy. He is a doctor who saves lives and an advocate for peace. He views pursuing the Romulans as too risky. The Romulan Centurion also consoles his commander. He speaks about knowing him for a long time, but still does not understand. The Centurion thinks war with the Federation is no risk, and though he's not a doctor, he saves his commander's life. Although from 2 different worlds, McCoy and the Centurion each share a sense of compassion while looking at the certainty of war much, much differently. Let's examine again how each ship had a crew member saving another. The Centurion sacrifices his life to save his friend, his commander. The Romulan commander apologizes for having to use his corpse because he has to use all his experience to get home. Meanwhile, Spock saves Styles. There's no ulterior motive from Spock. He's very logical, if not unapologetic. The Enterprise is going to make it home after all is said and done. For Lieutenant Tomlinson, he won't be so lucky. This takes us back to the beginning, the wedding. But before we do, like, share, or subscribe if you enjoy this video and like to see more content like this one. Thank you for supporting the channel. What's the deal with the wedding? Or better put, what's the deal with this wedding? It's a coming together of two opposites sharing a common goal, but they didn't go through with it. Let's go back to the Romulan commander's final words, who confesses to Kirk. If things were different, they could have been friends. And like the wedding, the friendship between Kirk and the Romulan will never see fruition. The commander must go through with his duty. The wedding comes full circle. The episode begins and ends in the chapel, where a bonding between Tomlinson and Martine won't happen. As Martine walks out of the chapel just as unmarried as she had walked in. Let me know in the comments below what were your favorite moments in Balance of Terror. This is Mr. G of Synergy saying, living on a Federation outpost, it's no career, it's a death sentence. Check out other videos on the channel. Thanks for watching.